Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening based on the location you are. As discussed, the Oracle Flax cluster, we have seen what are the difference from the Oracle 12c to Oracle 19c. Now it's time to go for the demo. So here we are going to configure the standalone Flax cluster. So during the demo, we will install the standalone Flax cluster, and for that we are going to use the 3 node. So 3 node rack we are using, and that we can able to install over there. So let me connect to my lab machine, and then we can able to proceed for the same. So we are going to connect with our lab machine, and then from there we will proceed for the further thing. So this is our Oracle lab machine for this training. So let me connect for this training. So this is my DNS server, and we have a 3 node. So from the DNS server, whatever the password we have assigned you, that password you can use, and based on that password, you can able to switch to the. So first time when you switch, it will ask you to change the password. So that you have to do. In my case, I have already changed the password, and I can able to log in to my DNS server. You can see here, I have logged in to my DNS server. Got it? And hope you all can able to log into your DNS service. So this is my DNS service which I log in. Now what I am going to do here, the first thing in this gateway, we are going to set the time across all the node. Got it? Because you aware, we have discussed about when we are installing the rack, the first thing, the all the nodes should be the sync with the time. Otherwise what happen, whenever the node evacuation will happen, or if the any node got corrupted, that time if you are going to recovery, and that time it will be not a proper way you can recover. So let me set the time across all node, and then we will do the further things. So for this, what I'm going to use, I am using my command, the time, and that format we are using on all the. It will ask you for each of your host password. So the password which is assigned to you, that you can use, and this is for all participants same. So each of the node we have given the password. So how many node you are syncing? So based on that you can able to see, like in my example, I am using the host 1, 2 and 3, and that's why we give. Now what I am going to do, I am going to restart my named service. Got it? So we are ensuring the availability of the service over there. So for that, what I can use, systemctl, and in this systemctl, what I am going to do, I am going to use my stopping. So as of now, I am stopping. What I am stopping to my service. So service name is named itself. So you can see the systemctl is not stopped. Okay, let me spelling. So my service has stopped. Now I am going to do the same service. So I am starting this time. So I have started my name service. Good. Now let's review the my host. So what we are using that machine, just let me check it. So that's where you can get the idea about what we are using. So either you can use the cat command or vi command and the file which you are going to check your etc host. So this is the configuration you can see into my environment. So it is showing the environment configuration with my 4 VM. So from the cluster which we are using, so DNS node is the my gateway for these are all VM connections. So here you can see we have the this is the my DNS gateway which I am currently logging. This is the 101 IP 192.02.1. This is for the my host 01. This is for the my host 2 and this is for the my host 3. So that's why we have a 3. Okay. Now what I'm going to do after this verification, we can able to use the my DHCP checking. So here I am going to use the my DHCP. So same systemctl command we can use, but this time in systemctl, what I am checking, I am checking the status. So I can use the my status. Which status I am checking? So DHCP. So you can use that DHCPT. So this I am going to check and let's find it. So you can see it's a active and running. If you can notice, it's active and running in my case. Did you notice? Here you can see it's a active and running. Okay, so this is the my service which is the active and as of now working fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect to the my particular host. Got it? So to connecting that host, make sure you can use the different way to do that. So here in the rack, for each node your SSH connection should be allowed, that you have to check. Got it? So let me check first from the host 1. So my machine name is host 01, you can see here. So I'm just checking onto the my host to this. Got it? It will ask the password, the root and the password which I given you that you can use. So now I am onto the host 1. Got it? When I am in the host 1, I can see the my status of NSCD. Got it? So basically the local naming cache daemon on all cluster node that we are checking with the NSCD. Got it? So make sure your NSCD starts and finally we can reboot and enable it. So for that what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the start. So systemctl, what I'm doing, I'm starting it. So I can use the word start. And which service I am starting? So the my NSCD. You can see it's started. We haven't received any error. Let me enable it. Modify and enable this. Now my service has enabled. The same way we can able to do with the host 2 and host 3 as well. So from here itself we can able to do. There is a two way, either you can log on to that node and then you can do, otherwise on the particular node you can able to do from here itself. Which command I am running? So I am running the my this the NSDC. So let me systemctl start nscd. That's for the host 2. Let me enable it as well. So I have enabled it as well. Now the same thing I have to do for the host 3. So let me do for the host 3. And then I am enabling into the host 3 as well. So it's finally enabled on the all the host. So host 1, host 2 and host 3, everywhere it is there. Now for this training we have kept the various script everything's into the your directory called stage rack lab. So over there what are the things you can able to see, but first of all I am going for the my bash profile. Got it? So till yet everyone please complete and let me know once done. Is it done, guys? Yeah. So here you all from the node 1, from the root user, just examine the content which is available into your directory, and then from there we are going to check the my bash profile as well as. So let me check the my bash profile into that what we have. So this is the bash profile into my, you can see the home and bin directory for the Oracle has set, and that's details. Okay, what about the my profile? So let me check the my profile. Here you can see the user profile what you are getting. So your permissions, your users, and that's all their limit. These are the my profile which is given to the particular users. So once these all environment variable is set over there, and you can able to do it. After that we have the another file which is we can use configuration file. So let me try the same. Here you can see I have my configuration file, so which can be used here. The limits were set. So everyone please check your limits.conf file, which will give you the idea about your configurations for this. So these are the requests which is given for student, faculty, so for everyone, the permissions based on to the your Oracle process, what are the permissions you have given. Got it? So everyone please do it. After this permission we can see the our folder we have one script which is called, so that script can be seen. So let me remove this cat. Stage rack labs lesson 1. I have the cell script which I can able to use. Got it? So let me run this. So this is the my cell script has executed. The another we have which is making the directory, you can see here. So for installation, what I am doing, I am just creating the my directory. Got it? So for the installation directory for both Grid and Oracle on our software, we have to provide the directory and give the ownership permission to that. So for that, we have a script which is called dir script. So this script, just read it what we have. So you can see here what I am doing. I am just making the directory which you can see here. For the grid directory, we are putting the 19.3. Then we are making the user app grid. So and we are making the ownership to the permissions, and the ownership we are giving here, and so on. You can see the for different node we are doing. So host 1, host 2 and host 3. Since we are executing from host 1, that's why I have not mentioned the host name in this case, but the same I am creating on the all the three node. This is for the my node 1, this is for the my node 2, and this is for the my node 3. So all the node we are creating the same directory, all the node we are creating the uh, same mount point for the hosting the my softwares. Got it? So that's where you can verify it. And finally, we can able to run this. So let me execute this. You can got the idea. There is no mandatory to show you this, but what my script is doing, that will guide you when you don't have that setup in your environment, so how you can able to perform. So here we are creating the directory and those are done. We haven't received any issue. So now I can go for the my particular host with the GUI, and then we can try the unzipping the my software. Okay. So for that, what I can use my SSH service, that it, and then the GUI we need. So I can put here the, and then I'm connecting with the which user. This time I am connecting with the grid user. So on the host one, make sure you all can get the password pop up. So the password is same what we have given you for the grid, root and Oracle. All the three users password you have already received. So use that password to connect the grid. So now I'm connected to the grid instance. If you can see here, I'm connected with the my grid instance. So everyone please connect it, and then we can proceed for the further where we are going to unzip and uncompress the my software. So here I am going to unzip the my software, and you can use this unzip -qt. So it will take few minutes to unzip it, and once it is unzipped, it is saying, do you want? So I'm saying yes, because the earlier batch, if it has done, so those it is saying. So for every file, it will ask if you want to the all, so we can put here like accordingly. Because it was already extracted, so it's just overwriting. Otherwise, alternate way, we can remove that file from there, and then we can do. So you can get the all the file there asking, and if I can give the all, so the together it will do the things. So just wait for the this extracting, and then we will try for it. It will take few minutes, and then we can able to do it. Let them extract. So while it is extracting, if anyone have any questions, feel free to ask me. If no questions, then okay. So now my extraction has done. Let me go to my directory location and see my files. If you can see here, we have all the files which is there. Now we are ready to run the grid. So let me execute this, the grid setup. So let me try to execute this. Sometimes maybe on your machine you can get this type unable to verify the graphical display. So it may be, so that case you have to execute and open the new terminal, and then you can do it. So that's the way you can able to do. So depend on your lab setup, it may be vary. You can use it accordingly, and then you can get the idea. So let me exit from this and try again. So let me continue, and here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to connect directly from the DNS server to the grid home with X permission, and then we can see what it will ask. This time I hope it will work. Now I am into my grid home. Let me go to the directory where I was. So in this grid directory, I can go to my particular grid directory. Okay, and this time I hope it will work. And here the same file you can see which you have extracted, and let me execute my grid setup, and hope this time there will be no graphics issue. Good. So we got it. So there's no graphic issue this time, and I am able to get my GUI. Here what I'm doing, I am configuring the Oracle grid infrastructure for the new cluster. I'm sorry guys. So you can choose the first and then click on to next. It is asking you configure the Oracle standalone cluster or domain. So whatever the way you want to install, you can choose it. So what I am choosing here, configuring the Oracle standalone cluster for this. So the first option, and then you can click it. It will ask you the cluster name. So what cluster name you want, you can give it, and accordingly we can able to use. So here what I have to give, I have to give the my cluster name. So in this case, not the host cluster should be looking good. So I can use the word called cluster. So I can use the cluster one. Let me write. So I'm using the cluster 01. Got it. The scan name, the cluster 01 hyphen scan. Just double check into this because your client is going to communicate via the cluster scan name. CLUSTER. CLUSTER and the cluster name 01 hyphen scan. It's okay. So we can use this. Then you can configure your GNS. Got it. In the GNS, we can create a new GNS. So GNS VIP address I'm giving 192.0.2. What is the IP address I'm giving? 155. So just you can create a new GNS service over there. Got it. The subdomain, skip it. Don't give the subdomain. Okay. We are ready to go for the next step. So let me click on the next. It will validating your GNS information. So wait for a few moments. It will verify. So what message we get? Could not be resolved. Okay. Cluster we have used. Cluster 01 hyphen scan. Yeah, that's a good enough. I don't need this. Okay. So here I'm not using it. Let me go and try this time. The GNS information. Yeah, this time it's verified. Good to know that. So maybe there's some other way are using with that IP. So that may be the one reason. Now we are ready to proceed for that. Here, what I can do, this is the host one. I am using the multiple host. So let me choose the host two. Got it? So the same way I can able to add the host two. Let me add the host name. Let me give the name similar like that. So what was the name? Host 02 dot example dot com. Okay. Then we have to give the virtual host name. So here host 02, the same, and this I am giving with my VIP. So similar like the host one, you can give, and after that you can use your example example.com. Let me copy. So for the host 3 also I can able to use the same way. Got it? So I am adding. Please check everything is correct and click OK. So this is adding the my single node, another host 2. Of course, I'm adding the my another node for the host 3. Again for this, I can able to add the range of the host node. If you want to multiple like the, then you can able to use accordingly. Yeah. So here what I'm giving the same name, but this time host 3. So host 03 example dot com, and the virtual address what I copied that I am trying to give the VIP, but this time the 3. So now my all the first, second, and third will be visible once we add. Some slowness you can see because we are accessing the server from this to the jump, from jump to the different locations. So that's why the multiple layer we have connected, and that's why it's some little bit slowness you can find. Okay, now we have added it. So all the 3 node has added. Now let me go and check the my connectivity. So when you are going to check the connectivity across the cluster, so you can able to use it, and then you can able to see the cluster node information, and then you can able to use it. So let me change the SS connectivity. Let me test it. It will take few minutes, just checking it. Okay, the lab has. So just give me a few minutes. I am connecting to the lab again. Because due to the some connections, I have lost a lab. Just give me 1 second. I can re-add it. So now I'm connected with the lab, and you can see the password SSS connectivity between sector node has established. Click OK and go for the next. So we are validating the node readiness, and once that is done, it will proceed further. So here you can notice ETH0 we are using for the public connections. The ETH1 which is a private, so let me change to this, and this I am going for the my ASM. Got it? So the ETH0 I am using the public, ASM for ETH1, and of course for private also we need. So for that I am using the ETH2. Okay, and ETH3 I am not using anything. If you want, you can use for the private, or you can change it, and the way of that you can. So this is the communication method they will use accordingly. Okay, now let me click next. So here the network configuration we are using for the my communication between the various node plus the my storage ASM. Now let's check it's done. Here what I am going to use, as I said, this demo we are using the Oracle Flax ASM. So we are using the Oracle Flax ASM for the storage. So just go for the Flax ASM, the first option, and click next. So do you want to configure the grid infrastructure management repository? See, this is the new technique from Oracle 19c. Grid infrastructure management repository is not mandatory. So if you want to install, you can use it. If you don't want, you can skip it. So it's not mandatory. But since we are using for our further demo, that's why I'm selecting yes. Let me click next. Here it is asking you that the separate ASM disk group for the grid infrastructure management. Yes, I am going to use it. So click on yes and click on next. Now it is showing your data, so you can able to use. So you can create the ASM disk group. Got it? And we can use the ASM disk group over there. So what I can do, I can use the ASM disk group here. Okay, let me set that environment and I'll show you. So I am going to change my directory path for ASM, and here it will ask you your path. So give the path what you want. So in our case we have dev, not the SD, we have CD. So let me change it, the path which I use, and click OK. Got it? Here your ASM disk is now reflecting. Got it? So I am using it this. So in the this page you have to be carefully to select the 10 disk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this 10 disk I have selected. Got it? So everyone please select this. Okay. So I am using the redundancy normal, no problem. So don't select the Oracle ASM filter driver for this. It will be automatically. Click next, normal redundancy. Okay. Now after that, it is asking you for the your management. Got it? So here I can use the my management group disk. So let me scroll and go for the my where it is the management disk. Now scroll down. Yeah, here is the management group. So you can choose management group for this device one management disk one, and to take the all the management how many we have. So till 13. And for this what I'm doing, I'm using the external redundancy. Got it? I don't want the mirroring. Let me click next. Now it is asking you the password. Got it? So this is basically asking you the specific password you can use for different password for this, or use the same password for this. So here for this I am using the same password, and give the password which we have assigned to you, the same one. Don't change the password. Got it? System does all the password it is asking. Let me give the password. Now password is case sensitive, so you can follow the thing accordingly. Okay, now my password has matched. I can able to use this password. Let me continue for further. Good. So password is done. and I am able to move it. Now here in the failover isolation support, I'm not doing anything because we are not using the intelligence platform management interface. That's why I'm not selecting, and we are keeping like this. No, and click next. Since the OEM, so you can specify the management option screen if you are using the OEM, but later on we will do when we will go for the OEM practice. So as of now, I am not using it. So just click on the next. Here the group. So ASM group, we have a ASM admin, then ASM DBA, and then we have a ASM offer. Got it? So for this, click next. Now this is the my grid based location where we are going to do it. So U01 app grid instead of this 9.3. So I'm just removing this version from there. Okay, so I'm using /U01 app grid base. Okay, and then let's click continue. Other one 9.3, 9.4, because the version when you would do the patching and other thing, so it will vary. So that's why. This is asking me the inventory directory. So by default, U0 app, Oracle inventory. Yes, I am going with that. And this you can see the new features into the Oracle 19C. During the runtime, we can able to give the password. Got it? So it won't like now. Of course, the root password you need to give. So root password is the you required, but I am not depend on to the OS admin. OS admin can change the password once the machine will be configured. Got it? So the root execution script you can able to execute, you can configure the page, and automatically it will run into my configuration script. Got it? So for that, what I am doing, I am using my root password, and of course the root password what you have to use the same what you have used onto the your node. Got it? So that's why you can able to do it. Let me go and give the root password. So provide the root user credential for the your host. Got it? And once you are ready, we are ready to install it. So let me continue. Click next. So what it will do, it instead of the your task, now it will do the your root. Otherwise manually what was happening, the string will start, we have to run the shell script from the root users and then we can able to do it. So that's way it is doing. So now the my installation has started. It will take few minutes and then it will be installed. Hope it is clear to everyone. If any questions, any doubt, feel free to ask me while my installation in the progress. If you have any doubt, any questions, feel free to ask. Meanwhile, keep your eye open onto your installation. So in my case, it's 44% now completed. So it won't take the much time. Within a few minutes, the installation will be completed. So what you have seen, the Oracle 19C, that management repository is not mandatory. That's a one new feature for Oracle 19C. We have learned. The second, what we have learned, the root script now installation, we are not depend. So during the installation itself, we can able to do it. Got it? And that will help you to use it. So now 61%. So going on. Based on your criteria, you can choose, you can able to use it, the things according to the your requirement. 76%. So mounting the temporary file system, 83%. Done. So this is the your installation summary, which you can see here. What is the port number I have used? The default port. This is the my scan. So local scan for grid infrastructure, storage information. Those all you can able to check from here. If you want to save this response files, you can able to save it for the future use. Otherwise, it is not really needed for me. So this is the summary scheme, and we are ready to install. So let's continue for grid infrastructure. Now this will install the clusterware over there into my machine. So again, it will take a couple of minutes for installations. So the clusterware installation has started. If you can notice, my clusterware installation has started. So it will take approximately 3 to 4 minutes, depend on your environment. And once it will be in progress, it will give you the one pop-up where they will ask you your confirmations about to root script executions, the credential which we provided. So for that, so once it will ask, then you have to approve it. So just you have to click on the yes. So it will take few minutes. Meanwhile, if anyone have any questions, any doubt, feel free to ask me. Since my installation is going on, you are ready to ask, you can able to ask the questions. No, good. So now you can see that my pop-up screen has come. So I need to approve with yes. So they are going to run that shell script from the root in the background. Yeah, you will get it. Just wait. It depends on approximately after 30% you will get. Good. So 35% installation has done. No problem at all. We can wait for the my installations. So let me check the status, what it's saying, my installation. If I can see these configuration, local node, that's a done. It's a prepared, leave link, copy file, prepare setup, setup Oracle base, success. So at present it is working on root script executions. So we can able to check it from the details, and here you can see they're executing the root script on hub node. So all the tasks what they did, from here you can see the loaded data as per the settings, got it all the component, then process, then copy, then installations for particular instance, and now as of now it is executing the my root script. So wait till it is executed and then we will continue. So now let me check onto the my installation status. I hope the root script has completed. Yes, it is completed. So almost you can see the executing the root script has done without the opening the terminal window, log into root and give that password. That is no more required with the Oracle 19c new features. After the root execution, what we are doing? We are configuring the Oracle grid infrastructure for this cluster, and as of now you can see grid infrastructure management repository configurations, they are waiting. So at present it is working with the management repository. Did you remember? That is also I told this is not mandatory for Oracle 19c onwards. The earlier management repository was mandatory for the grid, but now it's not mandatory. If you want, you can skip that part. Right? But always we recommend you to use it, and that will give you the lots of benefit instead of not using it. Of course, what are the benefit? So like the repository, when you are checking from the grid, you can able to do it, and after installation you can able to verify, you can connect for the particular database, you can see your cluster status, you can check all the components and everything. So now you can see my installation has completed. Let me check the status. So I can log into the my one of the repository. So now I am onto the my grid host. Let me give the path for Oracle U01. What I have given that one app, and over there if I remember we have given that grid. Good. So that's done. Now let's find the my cluster status first. And for that, what I'm going to use, I'm using the crctl command. Let me clear this all. Good. So let me check. So the CRS control for the cluster issue service controlling I am what I'm getting the some information related to my cluster. So I can use cluster and what the cluster class. Okay. So let me check my configuration. Whereas CTL, okay, environment is not set. Okay, let me try with this. Is it the same location the grid has set up or what? You can see where I have used. No, this one. I have given the wrong path for environment variable. Okay. Let me clear this and set the Oracle environment variable again. So what was my environment variable? mgmttb. That repository name I have given, if I remember. That is by default selected, but let me check. That is the by default has taken mgmttb the first time. Hmm. Open mode. I'm not checking the open underscore mode. Typo, some keyboard is not working in the virtual. Open underscore mode from Federal database. Yes, you can see my database is there. And the name is underscore mgmttb. Okay. Good. So that's about it. It's working fine. So you have checked your database is up and running. Now let me check my cluster status. And for that, we are using, let me check my configuration for the node, ASM and cluster. So let me check with that. So first thing what I can do, so I'm using here the get cluster class. So you can see we have installed the standalone cluster, so that is coming. Okay, so my cluster is standalone. Now let me see their mode status. So you can see the cluster is running and it is into flex mode. So the flex cluster is there, which we installed. That's working fine, no issue at all. Let me check my cluster configuration. So here I am checking my cluster configuration. You can check here the cluster configurations. It's working fine, and you can get all the details about the cluster name, what we have given, all the informations related to my cluster. You can able to check here. Let me scroll up a little bit so you can get the idea for this. So these all information you can able to see now. I have just logged into the database. I checked the database. It was working fine. Then we have checked the cluster class. It was showing the my standard cluster we are using. Then I have checked their status. So it is showing the flex mode cluster I am using. And finally, I have fired the cluster configuration, and it's showing my current configuration of my cluster. Got it. So it's cluster level configuration you can able to see over there as per your business need you can able to get. So CRSCTL, and here get cluster, and what I'm looking in the cluster now my setups. So that's we can able to see from there. I hope it's okay. You understood the setup. Of course, the configuration is you have to use properly. Configuration spelling is mistake. Configuration spelling you can check. In my case, I did a mistake. And then I'm checking my cluster status. You can see this is the name of my cluster, which is we have given during the installation. Cluster 1. The configuration is the cluster type. And what type? It's a standard cluster. The class and the type is flex cluster. Got it? So that's way you can able to see the cluster setting. Now this I can also able to check with my ASM. So let me use my ASM command. I hope you all are aware about ASM concept. So in ASM CMD, if you can see the same what we have executed here, so what cluster, so I'm using the show cluster mode. So from here you can see we are using ASM cluster. This is the flex mode enabled and direct storage access. Okay. Let me check the status of my cluster and see the services which is running. So for that we can use CRS CTL and check. So what I'm checking? So I'm checking my cluster and for which the specific, or I want to the all the nodes, so I can specify accordingly the things. So you can get the information about your entire. So here is your host 1, which is the cluster ready service is the online, the cluster synchronization service is online, and event management is online. Same for the host 2, same for the host 3. So I hope it's clear to everyone. This is for my host 1, this is for my host 2, and this is for my host 3. Got it? So based on your business need, you can choose whichever the cluster you want to use, how you want to use, is it flash cluster or normal clusters like the earlier versions. So similar way you can able to do and play the thing. So we have checked my status of the cluster, it's working fine, there is no issue at all. Now can we check my resource on the cluster? So let me check the status of my resource which is running onto this cluster. Again I can use the same crstl command, and this time I'm taking the status. So let me remove this. So status and what? So resource. Make sure which resource. So the all resource I'm putting the continuously. So it will give you information about your status of the services, the stability, those all. Let me scroll a little bit up so you can get the output in the proper format. So here you can see all the nodes, their listener, their scan IPs, those all are working fine. I don't find any error here. All are stable, I can see. Okay, let's scroll and then see. So here you can see everything is online. So based on you can see when you're doing, so name, the target, status, the server where it is showing. So the first information for my listener, it is showing that's onto the particular node and the host you can see here, and these are all in stable for all the 3 nodes. Then my service for the CHID is working for all the node, no issue at all. Let's scroll little bit down. What about the network? So it's working fine. My network is also stable, ONS is stable. The ASM you can see they are also stable. So for listener scan 1, listener scan 2, listener scan 3, all are stable. The management repository for ASM group, they are stable. Management listener, they are also working fine. No issue for the ASM group. They all are started and in stable conditions. So my all the services you can see is up and running and they are into stable mode. Got it? No issue at all. We found that everything is stable. The VIP, the scan IP, those all you can see, these are open and stable. Okay. So your cluster installation is finally completed and you have checked that is working fine. Now let me stop and disable the my resource. So for that I can use SRVCTL. Just wait 1 second. So SRVCTL, and what I'm doing here I'm just stopping the my disabling the my CPU resource. So stop, and then I am using my resource name CPU. We have discussed already about the CPU process. So it's stopped. Let me disable it. Now I disabled it. Now I am the virtual network. What I'm doing, I am putting the larger timeout for the default setting. Got it? So CRSCTL I am just changing that, and then finally we can go for this. Let me go for the my CRSCTL, and what I'm doing, I'm setting the my CSS. So set CSS and what my miscount. Okay, and by default it's a 10 seconds, so we are putting into the 90 miscount, so they will count. So parameter for the miscount has set for the cluster synchronized service for this. Now let me call the my ASM configuration assistant, and we can create another ASM disk group. So for that I am using ASM C, which is called ASM configuration assistant. So let's wait. ASM just starting the, and now here if you can see, it shows your ASM instances. If you will click onto this part, so it is running onto the all the three node ASM instances on all three node. So ASM instance is on all the my node. So if you remember in the theory we talked about the how and leaf, and I said in the Oracle 19c new features that leaf node is not mandatory now. So leaf node is the supported version. Now every hub node will behave as a separate. So all the node will behave like a hub. Got it? That's we see here. You can see the my disk group. So let me create another disk group. Got it? So this is the my disk group. So we have the data and management disk group. Okay, and we are going to create a new disk group here. So let me create my flash purpose the new disk group, so I can able to use this group. If you can see, click and create. So here it is asking your disk group name, so you can give the your This group name, so I am using for fast recovery area. So let me give the short form FRA, and then here I am not using the mirroring. So let me check the data 6, 7, 8, 9. So this 4 disk I am choosing, but I am using external none. Got it? So redundancy I am using external. That means no redundancy I am using. See, the FRA, if you want the redundancy, you can able to choose like the normal. So two-way mirroring will happen. If you want the high, so three-way mirroring will happen. And accordingly, you have to choose the disk. So don't choose the your level disk using the AFD. That's done. And once this is done, let me create the disk. So click on OK. Now my disk group another will be created, and the name of that group will be FRA. So now you can see here the new group is created, which is called FRA. So this is the my data group where my data file will be kept. This is for the my management repository, and this is for my FRA. If you can see the redundancy for data, I have used the normal. So two-way mirroring will happen, and these two I have not used the mirror. So you can choose it accordingly, and then you can able to do. Okay. So I have chosen that this group, no problem at all. I have created it, and now let me exit from here from the ASM configuration assistant. Yes, I exit it. Good. So the ASM we have exit. Good to know that. Yeah, a pop-up window is asking. You can click on the yes, and then you can. So that's about the demo where we have used the installation of standalone Flex cluster. Hope you all have completed it. If not, I am giving you the next 30 minutes to complete this task, and then we can go for the another topic in theoretically, and after that we can proceed for the practical of this. Thank you. Meanwhile, you can ping me on chat if you have any questions, any doubt, or any issue you are getting. Thanks.